Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. If you are on here, get those likes up, tag anybody on this discussion, or share it with someone that you think may find it interesting. So, I usually don't go live Saturdays. Usually try not to go live on the weekends in general, but I was noticing a lot of things just over the last few days with this whole passing of, Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Um, I just was noticing a lot of things that were just downright disturbing. I wanted to talk about this yesterday, but I just was so busy. I already had things planned, but I wanted to touch upon this as soon as possible as things are still fresh in the hearts and minds of people as we're still talking about this because there is a level of activity that I'm seeing among Black women online that is disturbing, disgusting, demonic, deplorable, is downright dirty and evil. And I used to think that there's certain content creators out there who they just want to make money, and so they may say things or they may pander just to make money, and that is still happening. We're going to see that. We're always going to have people out there who are going to tell you what you want to hear just to make money. It is what it is. But the level of evilness I saw this week, the level of depravity that I saw this week just showed me how deep the delusion and how deep the sickness goes for some Black women today. And so that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. So, guys, again, if you're on here, get those likes up, tag anybody, share this with someone that you think may find it interesting. Also, if you'd like to show support to the show, feel free to do so. You can find me on Cash App or Venmo. Sure, they also chats are open. I'll be sure to acknowledge all super chats. So just to get right into it, again, we all are fully aware of the recent passing of Kevin Samuels. It was a shock. I'm sure it was a shock to everybody. I'm still shocked by the whole thing. It's like one minute you have this person that looks really vibrant and alive and healthy and is, really at the top of his career, making such a huge impact. And then the next day they're gone. They're gone. And I mean, let that be a reminder to all of us already that life is so short. Like tomorrow isn't promised. But with the recent passing, I found out about it on Twitter. It had been trending on Twitter all day. Like I think the day that the news leaked, it was like the number one trend in the United States all day. And first of all, that speaks to the impact that this man has had, whether you agree or disagree. I've said this many times. I don't agree with everything he says. There's plenty of things that I've heard that I just downright do not like or agree with. And yet there's things that he said that I think are completely spot on. So it's rare that you're going to find one person that you 100% agree with everything. That's just normal. But with that, he was trending in the United States, like number one trend for I think almost the whole day, if not longer. And that's where I started to see some really disturbing, troubling behavior. We already know that there's always going to be those group of people among men and women who just do the most. Okay, we can all point to, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, right? Where we were looking at Incels and Femcels, and the FBI was doing an investigation, I guess, not FBI, the Secret Service or whatever. They're doing an investigation in Incels and looking at extremist Incel behavior online and how they've been linked to violent crimes. Again, this is an extremist, small minority, but nonetheless, that small population of those who take their beliefs to another level and just say and do really evil things. So we've seen that before. But I also started noticing a trend among women. I was seeing women not only it's not just about apathy. No, I was seeing women celebrate his death, celebrate his passing. And I'm like, wait, what? And it wasn't just like one or two. It wasn't just that kind of weird random person here and there where they have like 2 followers and you're just like, okay, you have mental illness, go get help or something like that. No, I started to see this over and over and over again. And I'm like, what is going on here? What level of disrespect must you have in order to openly celebrate the early passing of another human being? And this is one thing that I'm also noticing. There seems to be this stream of thought that just because you disagree with somebody, that gives you the right to be violent, that gives you the right to be belligerent, to be evil, to wish death or whatever it may be. And I'm like, that's what a child would do. A child would kick and scream and be violent because you didn't get what you want. But adults, when you grow up, you learn that, hey, it is a natural human, it's a part of human life to find people that you don't agree with. But you can still be respectful and you can still remain honoring to that individual, because at the end of the day, that person was created by God, period. Basic respect for human life. But I started to see, like I said, these women celebrating the early passing of the individual, all because they didn't agree with what he said. He never once promoted the violent, the mass extermination of women or Black girls. He never did that. He never said, oh, women, all of you should be this, or all of you women are your female nakers, your female bullet bags. He never once did that. He never, ever once did that. And yet what I saw was this consistent justification of evilness. Woman saying that, oh, well, because he's this, he's a misogynist, therefore I'm celebrating. Or karma is this, or karma is that. Using all these reasons to justify the fact that they are celebrating the death and the demise of another individual. And it was at that time that I noticed that, no, this isn't just a few women who are maybe mentally unwell, or maybe they had a bad breakup and they're just emotional, or they're on their monthly or whatever. And no, there are women out there right now. And there are content creators right now that are pushing messages that are so spiritually dark that they are just downright demonic, period. Where do you have to be spiritually or mentally for you to celebrate the death of another human being simply because you do not agree with him? Where is your mind? Where is your spirit? Where is your heart? See, and here is the kind of BS that I'm seeing. Here's what I think is the most dangerous. These same women who will look at the passing of this man and celebrate it simply because they do not agree with what he says. And mind you, this man that they hate married was married to two Black women, had a Black daughter that, by the way, these Black women say that they love, had a Black daughter, and probably she's going to be the one to end up with the wealth. So all this complaining, at the end of the day, his daughter is leveling up, if you will, likely going to secure the bag, if you want to use those terms. He worked his life and he's gave much of his life to Black women, whether or not you agree with him, whether if you think his tone was disrespectful, yada, yada, yada. He advocated by his actions for Black women. That's what he did. And they still disrespected him. And then it's this thing, I'm like, even if he didn't do that, nothing gives you the right to celebrate the early demise or death of another human being. And if that is where you are at right now, if you were that woman, if you are that person that looked at this as a victory and had the nerve to celebrate, to get excited, to see this as a victory, the demise of another human being, you are sick. You are mentally sick. You are filled with a demonic spirit, and you yourself are in danger. Because the very evilness that you are wishing upon other people, the very evilness that you are plotting against your enemies, that energy will come back to you. Some of you guys call it karma. Some of you guys call it the laws of reaping and sowing, but it is always in effect, and nobody is free from it. If you sow in evil intentions, if you sow with a wicked heart, if you wish evil on another person, it will come back to you, period. End of discussion. And here's what I recognized. That at the end of the day, some of these women are so hurt and broken. And here's one thing that I want to reiterate, because most women, I don't think, wake up one day and just say, hey, I want to be an evil person. Hey, I want to have a miserable life. I want to hate people. Most people don't do that. And I also want to make it clear that I'm not talking to every woman right now. If this doesn't apply to you, if this does not apply to you, let it fly. Like I said, if it don't apply, let it fly. So I want to make a distinction that this is not all women. There are beautiful women out there that I know personally who are honoring, who are respectful, who maybe didn't agree with Kevin Samuels, but respect the fact that he is no longer with us and want to make sure that he is respected in his death. So those women are out there. This does not apply to you. But if this does apply to you, you know who you are. And many of these women who have become agents of chaos, they have become conduits of evil, and they are spreading hatred. They are feeding on ideological poison, and they don't know why they're unhappy. They're feeding on ideological poison, and they don't know why they're upset. They're ingesting poisonous doctrine day after day after day after day. And they're complaining about their own unhappiness. These women, many of them are hurt. Many of them, maybe when they were a kid, they had a bad situation. Maybe they had bad experiences with their fathers, with their dads, or with the boyfriends, or they had different men that broke their heart. All of us go through that. But these women, instead of dealing with that stuff, it embittered them. It hardened their hearts. It made them evil. It made them skeptical. It made them fearful. And this is what I saw. What I started to see, like I said, it wasn't a small group of a few a random, Twitter follow over there that has like 5 followers saying dumb stuff, or another random Twitter follower with no face and name that has like 2 followers saying stupid stuff. We can all find that. We can find men who say horrible, evil things that have like 2 followers, and we can find women. But no, it wasn't that. This was a generation of women. This was a group of women who were celebrating openly the demise of his death as if it's a victory. Real quick, I do see some support coming through. So I want to make sure I acknowledge it. Shout out to MS Delta Guide with the 10. Oops. I appreciate you for the super sticker. I also see, let me make sure I got it because I was starting to go in. Let me see. Oh, you became a member. Thank you, MS Delta Guy, for becoming a member. Stay tuned. I have some more members only content dropping. Like I said, this week I've kind of been a little busy. Next few weeks I'm going to be busy because I'm editing videos, but I do have some members only content coming up soon. So you'll see it. Thank you for becoming a member. Also, shout out to Kevin C with the 5 on the super chat. I see many women don't argue against Kevin Samuel's message, but had issues with his tone. Much of his message was distorted by others or taken out of context. Bingo. I mean, I just was talking to a woman the other day, a few days ago, Black married woman, and we had this conversation. She's married to a Black man. Obviously, I'm married to a Black man, and she was just like, I brought up his name, and this is before the whole passing. But I brought up his name, and she's just like, Kevin Samuels. And we got to talking, and what did she say? She's like, it's not that I disagree with what he's saying. It's just his tone. Like, he's just so rude sometimes. So we laughed and went back and forth, and I was like, yeah, I don't agree with his tone. I do think that he can be a little harsh sometimes too, but he has a good message. And you go back and forth. Like, who knows? I could have just been him being a good businessman, putting on a good show. We can all argue, but at the end of the day, very few people could actually really go against his overall message, because there were core talking points that he had that just made sense. And very few people could actually look at what he was saying, not the tone, not the approach, but the caliber of what he was saying, and say that it was false, because a lot of it just made sense. Oftentimes they had to take things out of context. They had to kind of snip it and, add it together, and then add their little monologue over, like they had to do extra things to kind of make it what it wasn't. But most people could not really deny his message, because like I said, a lot of it was based upon fact. So I totally agree with that. Also, again, shout out to MS Delta Guy with the 50 on the super sticker, showing some love. Again, guys, if you are on here, get those likes up. Tag anybody, share this with someone that you think may find it interesting. We're talking about Black female demonology. And the reason I use the term demonology is because there's no better way to describe the level of depravity that I saw happening this week. And honestly, I'll be honest and say that I think this was the first time I really started to understand how dark some of these women are, how dark of where they're at mentally, spiritually. I mean, like I said, I always knew that there was some delusion or mental illness going on, but it's reached a new low. It's reached a new low that I think is beyond the human capability of evil. I'm like, these women, there are some of these women who are literally being used by evil spirits. If you don't believe in spirits, if you're atheist, yada, yada, okay, this may not apply to you. But if you do, then you know what I'm talking about. Because there's a difference. We've all met that person that's a little bit crazy, they're a little bit off. And then you may have met that one person where it's just like something about you is so dark. There is an essence about you that is so dark that it seems otherworldly. It seems like it comes from some other place that I don't want to know where that place is from. But it is so dark and disgusting and deplorable, and it makes my skin crawl. It's evil. And that is what I saw. So let's go back to this. So again, you have a person, Kevin Samuels, well respected, also a lot of enemies, a lot of people who did not respect him, who did not like him. Nevertheless, he made a huge impact. He was trending on Twitter in the United States for like an entire day. He has an early passing. Many of us are shocked. I saw a lot of people that are just like, hey, rest in peace. I saw a lot of respected content creators come up front and say, hey, he impacted me. You know, we didn't really promote, we didn't talk about it up front, but behind the scenes, when nobody was looking, we were having conversations. He was pouring into me. He was encouraging me. Well-respected content creators standing up and saying that. You also had people who didn't agree with him and said, you know what, I didn't really agree with all of his message, but rest in peace. He was a human being. He has a family. He has a mother. He had a father. He has a daughter, a Black daughter at that. You know, rest in peace. Condolences to their family. And then I said, I saw this group of women, this generation of women. And the reason I say generation is because this isn't just one small little random person, like I said, with 2 Twitters. This is a movement of sick, demonically, at the very least, demonically possessed or oppressed or inspired women who were celebrating his death, who were going online, doing lives, doing live streams, using this as an opportunity to promote fear, to instill fear into the hearts of women. I heard like some podcast or something, and this girl is saying, see, this is, you guys, you got to go get your guns. Now you got to go get your protection. Now you got to go suit and boot, because these nakers, these bullet bags are going to go around, and now they're going to use this as an opportunity to avenge Kevin Samuels' death. These nakers, these bullet bags, they're violent, they're demons, they're this and that. The whole live stream, I mean, I had to get off. Like, I couldn't even finish listening it. It was like a good 30, 40 minutes of just fear. I'm like, who does that? Who gets up and specifically has an agenda to instill fear in the lives of young women? Who does that? Only somebody who themselves is sick. And that's what I'm saying. These women are so sick. They are so fearful. Their lives are so distorted. They're so depressed. They're so anxious. They're so traumatized that when they look in the mirror, all they see is fear. All they see is fear. They hate themselves, and they hate even more the men who have or share the reflection. They despise authority, and they're rebellious. And because they're rebellious, they don't come under authority, they don't like order, and they won't get in line with anything that would actually bring healing or actually bring change, positive change in their life. And this is why they hated Kevin Sam. This is why they hated him, because they have no appetite for the truth. They have no appetite for the truth. Their entire life is a lie. Their entire life is built upon fear and undealt with trauma and pain and daddy issues and mommy issues and boyfriend issues and self-hatred issues and Miss Ann and wanting to be Miss Ann issues. This is their entire existence. They are distorted. Their eyes have become distorted, and all they can see is hatred and fear. And that's the only thing that they can speak into the lives of other women. And like I said, this isn't just some small Twitter account. in the far corners of the earth. No, these are women that have followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. These are women of influence. And I didn't understand that until, like I said, this week, I started to see the level, not only the amount of people who were celebrating it, but how it became unchecked, how it was like nobody was really pushing back. And I'm like, whoa, wait, huh? There used to be a time where you just don't go past a certain thing. You just don't. There's just a level of respect or a level of humanity that says, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to talk to an elder that way. I'm not going to talk to a person that way. I'm not going to disrespect human life. That used to be in existence. That's no longer here. The sisterhood is broken. Sisterhood is broken down. The sisterhood has become damaged. And it's being led by men filled with evil intentions. It's being led by women filled with evil intentions who are traumatized and full of fear, and they have nothing else to give you but their own bitterness. And if you are a woman and you are among that crowd, if you are a woman and you are constantly ingesting ideological poison, you cannot be surprised when you find yourself always depressed. You cannot be surprised when you look at your life and there is no fruit. You cannot be surprised when you look at your life and it is consistently in shambles. Listen, everybody goes through hard times. I've gone through hard times. If you're listening to me, you probably have hard times. That's life. That's the ebb and flows of life, right? There's times where things are growing. There's a time of pruning. There's a time where we're being stretched. There's a time when we're relaxing. There's a time and season. But there's a difference between you growing, like growing pains, if you will, and chaos, a life of chaos. And how many of you women are living in a life of chaos? And then you surround yourself around chaotic women. You surround yourself with a sisterhood of failure who have failed results because they reject God. They call themselves divine. They call themselves divine feminine, and they reject God. They reject order. They say they worship their ancestors. They're talking with their ancestors. They use tarot cards to get revelations from their ancestors, and they won't even talk to their own mother. They wouldn't even respect their own father. If they met their grandparents or their great-grandfather, they would despise him. They'd call him a naked. How do you honor your ancestors and seek for vision from your ancestors and don't even know how to respect your elders? You call men who have your own image nakers. You look at a grown man who some of them could have been your father, that could have been your brother. You look at him and you celebrate him, calling him a bullet bag. And then you have the nerve to say that you are honoring your ancestors. You're living in delusion. You're living in delusion. That spirituality, that's what you want to call it. That's not spirituality. That's demonology. That's demonology. How? Anything that gives you a reason to hate, anything that gives you a reason to fill you with bitterness and pain, anything that leads to death in your life, spiritually death in your life, dead results, failed dreams, or even if it does seem like you have it all together, inwardly you're depressed all the time, inwardly you're anxious, you can't hardly sleep, you can't hardly trust nobody, you got trust issues, you have a hard time keeping relationships, it seems like things in your life are always going wrong. Those are called dead results. And that is the example of listening to women and listening to things and taking in ideologies that come from evil and wicked places. And that's what I'm saying. The sisterhood of failure is being led by these women. The sisterhood of failure is being led by these women with evil intentions, with bad spirits, with bad results, with failure. And they're telling women lies. They're telling women what they want to hear because these women aren't used to the truth. They're not used to hearing anything constructive. They think love is telling them what you want to hear. They don't understand constructive love because they hate men, because they hate order, because they hate discipline. And those are the very things that they would need in order to actually start to have better results in their life overall. And they hate it. They think it's bad. They think it's judgmental. No, it's the truth. The truth is a thing that sets you free. But if you don't have an appetite for the truth and you continue to ingest false fables, and you continue to ingest poisonous ideologies, you cannot be surprised when your life is in shambles. And that's not men's fault. It's not the maker's fault. It's your fault. You're so quick to call a black man a naker. What does a female naker look like? If you have already established in your mind that a naker is a black man, what is the complexion of a black female naker? Tell me. If black men are bullet bags, then what is a female bullet bag? Tell me. Let me know. If black men are dusties, then what does a female dusty look like? Tell me. Do you understand that you implicate your own self in the very things that you judge others for? And that is what you are doing. That is what you were doing. And that is what I saw. And it was unchecked. And it was so rampant. And I was disgusted. I said, these women are out of order. No wonder there's so much buffoonery going on. No wonder men are talking about SYSBM. I support SYSBM. If this is what they have to choose from, if what men have to choose from is a generation of rebellious women who despise order, who hate masculinity, who call themselves divine, but rebel against God, if that's what men have to choose from, SYSBM. SYSBM. And like I said, again, women, if this doesn't apply to you, women, if it don't apply, let it fly. But for those who it does apply, you know who you are. You know who you are. Again, guys, if you're on here, get those likes up, y'all. Get those likes up. Also, I think did I see a super? I want to make sure I acknowledge super chats. Oh, shout out to Family Values. I see Toxis. These bras are really sick. Shout out to Family Values. It was so good to have you on. Girl, come on anytime. Feel free to come on anytime. It was good to have you on last week. And like, and here's the thing about it, because I was saying some things in the last broadcast, and she's like, girl, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree. But we could have an honest conversation. I'll be like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something. Let me know. But I still have respect for her. Even if maybe we don't agree on things, or maybe she's seeing things differently, or maybe she has understanding on something that I don't, I can sit and listen and I can learn. Or maybe she can sit and listen and we can learn. We can be two adults and we can talk and we can say, okay, let's try to figure out the truth. Because if you really want the truth, if you really want better results, then you are not so threatened when something sounds different than what you thought. That's called being an adult. So again, shout out to you. I think I saw something else come through. Let me see. Shout out to Barry Hamilton. Says, I admire your passion, Shay Sade. The Christian man's passing reveals an unlaced, poisonous boil. Men don't want alliances with the devil. No, you absolutely shouldn't. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all, this last week was like the best free promotion at SYSBM I've ever seen. The best free promo. And they didn't even know. That's the thing about it. These women don't even understand how they literally just, they just essentially invested millions of dollars into the SYSBM movement based upon their own buffoonery. Literally. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, listen, if this is what men have to choose from, SYSBM, you have my blessing. And listen, I'm not here to say, we already know, y'all, that there are men out here that are doing crazy things. They are saying their own stuff. Yes, we already know that. I myself have received a ton of heat from men. I had somebody just a few days ago do a whole hate video doing all kind of lies about me. So listen, I get it. But just because somebody, let me see. Oh, it looks like I just got a notification. Okay, wait, did I miss a super chat, y'all? I want to make sure I didn't miss a super chat. I'm trying to make sure. Okay, let me know if I missed a super chat. Oh, also shout out to Hakeem. Hakeem in the building. It's so good to have you back, Hakeem. Shout out to Hakeem with the hand on the Cash App, y'all. Again, I appreciate the love. But anyways, okay, y'all, if I missed your super chat, please let me know, because I don't be liking to miss super chats. Let me see, Kevin C. It says this Black gender divide is out of control. It hurts women, children, family, and community. Women and kids' safety, security, and well-being are at stake. I agree. Shout out to Kevin C. Yeah, I don't know what a member message is. I don't know what that is. Sorry, I was getting notification. So okay, I'll just move on. But anyways, yes, about this gender war, it's out of hand, y'all. It's out of hand. And that's why, like I said, I was like, I need to say something. I wanted to talk about this yesterday, but I didn't. I had too much going on. But I wanted to touch upon this before it gets too late, because at the end of the day, like, if we go around, and I say we, Black women go around, because I always hear this whole camaraderie about, Black women working together, banding together, taking care of themselves, yada yada yada. So it's like, okay, if we want to act like, operate as a collective, or talk about being a collective, and do that online, you can't let this kind of stuff go unchecked. You just cannot. You can't do it. Oh, okay, I'm seeing it. Okay, guys. I'm seeing it. Sorry. So I'm gonna go. I think there was a member's message that I missed. So yeah, so you can't let this kind of stuff go unchecked, y'all. And that's what I said. It's like, the reason I use the word demonology, because the level of depravity that these women have reached, it's so evil. It's so evil, and it's so unhinged that it's like, where are you at mentally? You guys, sorry, I'm trying to find, where did this thing go? I thought I saw another message. Sorry guys, technical issues here. It looks like there was like a member's message. But why am I not seeing it? It's so weird. Okay, guys. Yeah, I thought there was like a member's message, but I am not seeing it on my end at all. So I'm gonna be on the lookout. I'm gonna be on the lookout, you guys. If you sent me through some love and I missed it, please let me know, and I'll be back to try to find it. Okay, anyway, sorry. Back here, it says, Shay, you're doing a great service to help fight off what the hyenas are doing to the ethnic image of Black women. Thank you. I'll continue to support you and those like you. Shout out to David with the $9.99 on the super chat. Much love and appreciation. Yeah, see, the cancel culture is trash. Totally. So, okay, I did see a member message come through from, I think it was from Demetrius. Shout out to Demetrius for being a member, a silver member. It says, believe it or not, the combos we men are having is the very beginning of order. White men already did. They call it the Constitution, but before that, they dictate people's actions and thoughts. What Demetrius is talking about, shout out to Demetrius. Order. That's what I'm saying. Order. If you're a Black woman and you want protection and you want all these different things, you need order. You do need order. Absolutely. And that is something that men bring. That is a God-given attribute that men have. Not to say women can't have orderly things about them, but the nature of who men are, they bring order into not only society, into a woman's life, into a family's life. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of these women, the sisterhood of failure, and I call it that because you have to have had many failed results if you would be so sick as to celebrate the demise and the death of another person. You have to. You're like, somewhere in your life, something has failed you. If you have gotten so sick spiritually and mentally that you think it is okay and acceptable to celebrate the early demise and death of another human being who, by the way, advocated for Black women by his actions, period. Like I said, this man's wealth at the end of the day went to and will go to a Black woman, period. Which is usually half the times the things that Black women complain about anyways. Oh, this Black man over here be marrying these preferences, biracials, giving all the wealth to these preferences, giving all the wealth to Becky. This Black man who you guys had the nerve to disrespect, by the way, his assets and all the wealth that you're complaining about, it was shared with a Black woman and will be going to a Black woman. Most likely his Black woman, his young daughter. And yet still that wasn't enough. And this is why it shows you half the time it's not even necessarily about results. It's not even about what's right or wrong. It's these women are sick. These women are sick. And they're using these different opportunities to spread hatred and divide and pump fear into the young hearts of women. You shouldn't have young teens and 20-year-olds filled with so much vitriol, filled with so much hatred towards men. You don't even have enough experience at that point to even know otherwise. And at that point, you're living vicariously, maybe for your disgruntled mother, if you're a disgruntled auntie, if there were or an older woman that you met with online who has told you the right things and try to suck you in or allure you in. What do you know in your teens and 20s about all these generation of men? What do you know about that? You're too young to know. And that you got these even young girls spewing this dumb rhetoric, this dumb, insane, crazy, insidious rhetoric, and have the nerve to call themselves divine feminine. Ain't nothing divine or feminine about you over here spewing hatred. And again, you better not talk about loving your ancestors and honoring your ancestors when you over here disrespecting elders, probably don't even get along with your mama. If you met your granddaddy or great granddaddy, you call him a naker. So no, you're lying. Your spirituality is a lie. You're a lie. Your life is a lie. And you know it. If you're listening to me and this applies to you, you know it. And this is what I would say. I'm not saying this because I hate Black women. I'm saying this because I love who we are. I love Black women. I love the potential that we have. I love women, period. I think there's a lot of great things about who we could be. But if we do not gain an appetite for the truth, if we do not learn and understand how to accept the truth, if we reject it all the time, and if we are only willing to accept things that make us feel good, that is taking you down the road to destruction, period. This is not me wishing harm on you. This is not me trying to curse you. This is not me trying to threaten you. No, this is simply the laws of reaping and sowing, period. If you sow an evil, right? If you put out bad energy, you're going to get bad energy back, period. This is not complicated. And this is what women are doing today, and it's going unchecked. And then we're confused and we're upset when men SYSBM. Like I said, if this is the generation that men have to choose with, SYSBM, you have my blessing. These good men need to go wherever they need to go to find good women. And if it's not within their midst, then we shouldn't shame them. We should become better women. And yeah, we can all sit here and talk about, oh, well, these this, these men, that. We could all sit here and talk about it. What about you? What does that old saying go? How are you going to go and sit there and complain about the speck in somebody else's eye? And you got a plank in your own eye. You blind. You are blind as a bat over here trying to talk about somebody else's vision. You can't even see. You are blind. Somebody else got glasses and you over here trying to clown their vision because they got glasses, and you are blind. You yourselves are blind. Focus on your own blindness. Focus on the own things that are blurring your vision. Then maybe you will be able to properly see what's going on with that other person. But until you yourself have dealt with yourself, until you yourself have dealt with your own drama, until you yourself have dealt with your own pain, your own issues with your parents and your dad and your mother and your grandparents. Don't over sit here talk about honoring your ancestors. That's a lie. Don't over sit here talking about your divine feminine. That's a lie. Your life is a lie, and you are continuing to spew hatred. And there's nothing divine about that. And if you don't believe me, fine. Look at your life. Look at your life, period. The truth has a way of always reminding us that it's the truth. That's the thing I love about the truth. This is why I tell people all the time. Y'all know I'm open about my relationship with God. I'm open about being a Christ follower, but I'm no longer at the point where I try to push. I'm not trying to push, my way on doing things in other body, because I recognize that no, the truth is the truth. And if somebody really wants it and they seek it out, they're going to find it, period. So that's what I'm saying. If the truth is what you want and you seek it, you'll get it. But if that's what you don't want, and if you want lies and you want fairy tales and fables, and you want to feed on poison ideology, you want to feed on all the different stuff, you want to feed on ice cream all day, then you can't be mad when you have a stomach ache, because that's what some of us are doing. That's what some of us are doing. And again, this is why I think there was such a vitriolic reaction against Kevin Samuels, because as imperfect as he was a human. Duh. So of course he's not going to have the perfect message all the time. He may have gotten too angry there. Maybe he should have said that better. Everybody can be a critic when they're not in the driver's seat. Everybody can do that. You can be the best content creator ever when you don't have a platform to manage. So everybody can criticize him, but at the end of the day, he was the one that had the gall and the gumption and the courage to go ahead and do it. And they hated him because of the truth that he represented. The truth, they hated him because it put a mirror on them. And they're not used to that. And they don't want it. But that's the only thing that's going to save you. You looking in the mirror And some of you guys, like I said, you're so filled with fear and hatred and trauma that you can't look in the mirror. The easiest thing you can do is blame somebody else, because that gives you a reason to not deal with yourself. But when you go to sleep, it is yourself that you're going to sleep with. When you look in the mirror, it's yourself. When you're lonely and depressed and anxious and your mind is running and you're stressed out about finances and your life is in chaos, it is yourself. That's you. So even if you try to run away from you and get sucked up in all kinds of fantasies and fairy tales so you don't have to deal with your reality, there are still going to be moments in time all throughout the day where you are reminded of your life. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm like, ladies, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we even talking about? We're playing around. We're playing around in the muddy, acting like we're looking cute. Over here rolling around in the mud, getting ourselves dirty with all this kind of garbage that we're listening to and spewing and saying, and acting like it's cute, and it's not. It's not cute. This is not cute. Like, no, you're not even impressed. You're not. You can get online and flex and send super chats and black girl magic and black girl love and black girl power and black woman empowerment, yada, 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 yada. And then you get offline and you actually have to live life. You have to live your real life. And like I said, life has a beautiful way of reminding you what's actually going on. And again, I'm not saying just because we have a hard time, everybody has hard times. That is a part of life. You have hard times and lean times and times of abundance. That's just this ebbs and flows of life. But that's different than a life of chaos. Totally different. And that's what we are advocating for. We're advocating for a life of chaos and saying it's everybody else's fault. We're giving each other's advice that will lead to damaging results. That's what we're doing. We're telling women things that are going to lead to damaging results. And thinking that we're flexing, thinking it's a flex, thinking that we're doing something great, and we're really not. It's bad. If you are that woman that has found yourself surrounded by the sisterhood of failure. And again, that is what it is. That is what we have come, this sisterhood of failure. If you are that woman and you have found yourself surrounded by the sisterhood of failure, please recognize what is going on. Do not get sucked into the BS. Do not get sucked into the fear mongering that says all these niggers are this or all these men are that. If you find yourself filled with such hatred and bitterness, you are caught up in a delusion. You're caught in a delusion. And here's the thing I love about life. There at every moment when we find out we're wrong, we find out that we're doing something wrong, we can change. We can say, wow, I was wrong. I messed up. I was wrong people, or I was believing the wrong thing, or I was in delusion, and you can get out of it. So if you're that woman, if you're surrounded, and if you have been surrounded by this sisterhood of failure, you can stop. You can. There is a chance to change. That is what I tell women all the time. If you want to know the truth, call upon the spirit of truth. Again, if you're atheist, this ain't going to apply to you. But if you're a spiritual person, you believe in spiritual things, call upon the spirit of truth. Ask the spirit of truth to reveal to you what is going on, to reveal to you what is really happening in your life. Because you don't have to stay, your life doesn't have to stay a train wreck. You don't have to continue to be a train wreck. You don't have to continue to surround yourself around women who are going to give you poison. You don't have to continue to surround yourself around things that are going to lead to more destruction. You can change, but you have to first recognize when you're wrong, and you have to first recognize when it ain't nobody else's fault. It ain't mommy or dad or that nigger or that bullet bag or all these horrible black men. It's your fault. You have to own what you have done wrong, and you have to go bring your life to God and say, I need help, because I've ran my life and it's gotten me nowhere. I have run my life and I have ran myself into a sisterhood of failure, and all we're doing is just creating more and more toxicity. If that's you, you can change. You really can. But you got to first acknowledge that what you're doing is not right, that what you're doing is destructive, that you have been deluded, you have been lied to, you are probably believing lies, and that you are the problem and you need to change. Honestly, this is what had me start my relationship with God. I had to come to grips with some things that I was believing. I had to come to grips with some things that in my life that were off. And that's what really started me being like, okay, you know what? I do need a power greater than myself, because I'm limited. So I'm saying there is an aspect of change, but these women are so evil and so demonic that it's going to take a higher power for them to be saved from this delusion. I'm telling you that now, because it's not just these women are just a little crazy, a little mentally ill. No. Like I said, this is a level of evilness that is beyond human capacity. This is what I saw. So I'm seeing all these super chats. Let me go on around. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I got a few things going on here. Let me make sure I get through everything. Okay, I'm gonna get through all of it. All right, so shout out to Leroy. I see you with the 5 on the Cash App. Yeah, I see. Wait, let me see. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna get this right here. Okay, so no, Andre Hayward, I saw the $5 in the Cash App. It says, "You can't make this ish up." Shout out for you for the $5 in the Cash App. You're right. You really can't. This was so crazy. This was like, oh, that's why I was like, okay, I need to handle this. I usually don't like to go live on Saturday, but it was, I was grieved. Literally, y'all, I was grieved. I was like, like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Are we really going around here being this? And listen, y'all, our PR is horrible. We have the worst PR in the world as Black women. This is why you can't be mad. You better not be mad if you see anybody. Ooh, let's see. I got a lost connection here. You guys, am I there? Uh-oh. Sorry about that, y'all. Looks like I had some technical issue there. But okay, so I want to make sure I get through all these Cash Apps, because I saw a few of you guys send through some comments. So I think I got the Cash Apps there. 1 second, let me see. Okay. Also, it looks like I got, from Deanie. Shout out to Deanie. Shout out to Deanie for being a member for 7 months. I appreciate the love and the support, you guys. Like I said, all you super supporters, I really appreciate you. It says, there's something spiritual going on that is not right. I've been seeing it with the Divester comments and Toby Omaselli. It's wicked. Bingo. That's what I'm saying. Demonology. I'll call it what it is. These women, that's what I'm saying. They're consulting tarot card readers and witches and warlocks, supposedly getting in touch with their ancestors, and don't even honor their elders. Probably don't even have a good relationship with their mom. Probably hate their dad. And if they met their granddad or their great granddad, would call him an acre. These are the same women calling themselves divinely feminine, consulting tarot card readers for their destiny, saying that they're getting messages from their ancestors, and they don't even respect the elders in their life. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, it's a lie. It is a lie. It is a lie. Yeah, you're consulting a spirit, but it's probably an evil spirit. And if you don't believe me, fine. Look at your life. Like I said, you don't have to believe one word that I say. That's fine. Just look at your life. Period. You live your life. You're the one that's inside your own head. You know what goes on behind closed doors. And that's what I'm saying. If this resonates with you, and you know it resonates with you, you can try to fight it all you want, but the truth has a way of following you. It does. Okay. Let me see. So shout out to Deanie again. Okay, and then I saw shout out to Drippin' and Gaming. Wait, what's going on here? Drippin' and Gaming. Okay, so it says, I see rebelliousness against direction and instruction. Absolutely. That's what I said before. Rebellious spirit. A lot of you women have a rebellious spirit. You don't like authority. You don't like authority, or to say you don't respect the authority that you actually need in your life. You don't like it. You're afraid of it, you're scared of it, or you're too prideful. Either the way, you don't like it. And then so you rebel. You rebel against order in your life that would actually help you. And again, like I said, that's why I think there was such a vitriolic reaction against Kevin Samuels. And that's why some of these infected women were celebrating his death. Because it's that evil spirit that's in them, or the evil spirit that's influencing him. It's happy because it doesn't want order. It's happy because it wants chaos. It's happy because it doesn't want that person to change, because it's evil. But like I said, the order is the very thing that would probably start to bring balance and equilibrium and healing in your life. And so you're right, rebelliousness, absolutely. I see the callousness I've seen, again, shout out to Deanie with the 5. It says the callousness I've seen with death has been depressing. Comments about divesters and what happened to Toby and Kobe are spiritually bankrupt. I love that. Spiritually bankrupt. Bingo. You said it. Yeah, and so that's why I was like, no, this is demonology. I'm like, we're talking about Black female demonology. We're talking about Black women that have the nerve to call themselves divine, divinely feminine queens and goddesses, and don't have no respect or regard for God. Don't have no respect or regard for the things that God has created, and have the nerve to call yourself divine. How dare you? How dare you? Promoting hatred, misandry, even misogyny. You, Black woman, promoting misogyny against the women that you don't think agree with you. Promoting all that kind of BS, lying to somebody, lying to yourselves, and have the nerve to call yourself divine. How dare you? Do you know how sick that is? And again, I'm not saying this because I have no hatred. If honestly, if I hated women, if I hated Black women, I wouldn't say anything. I'd just be like, these women are crazy. Go along and live my life. Okay, go wine tasting with my husband. Go watch some Netflix and chill. Do whatever and just stay quiet. If I really didn't care, if I really wasn't disturbed, it would be easier for me to do that. It would be easier for me just to be quiet so I didn't get crazy messages in my DMs and people creating videos about me lying and having nameless faces avatars spewing all kinds of lies. Like, that would be easier. But I actually do care. I know that there's plenty of women out here who are going to reject this message, and that's fine. But like I said, if it's just a handful, if it's just a handful that listen and say, you know what, wow, I was getting sucked up. To me, that's worth it. To me, that's worth it. You know? Okay, let's see. Shout out to Better You. It says, many celebrating are proving his points by not being accountable to themselves or FBI. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what I said before. I was like, y'all, women don't even know that they just did this is like literally the absolute best promotion of SYSBM, free promotion. They don't even know it. How many men saw that and they're just like, you know what? I'm getting my passport. And to be fair, like I'm saying, I think it would be unfair to paint the collective of women or the collective of Black women as this. Like I said, this is not all of them. I know plenty of beautiful women, but it's enough. It's enough of them for this to be a problem. It's enough of them for me to be like, no, we need to address this because, by the way, these women are also trying to reach young women and teach them femininity. And I'm like, how? What are you teaching them? You don't even like your life. If you despise your life and you're stressed out half the time and you're so evil, which is why all you do is go online and spread evil, then how are you trying to teach other women about femininity? Or teaching them about the male pathology? You're not a man. Why don't you teach women about who you are? This is why I don't spend a lot of time really talking about men or talking about how to be a man. I'm not a man. So that's kind of out of place. I can touch upon it here and there as it's relevant, but I should primarily talk to women about female things because I'm a female. So I'm like, women, we're spending all our time teaching women about femininity by throwing men under the bus all the time. That's off. What does a woman know about being masculine? Unless they themselves are trying to be masculine. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, let me see. Shout out again to Kevin C. I see Kevin Samuels pushed therapy. Right, he did. Like that's what I said, and that's one thing that people can be resistant to. The very things that they need, they can be resistant to. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so I think I saw a few more. Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, and then I see Brohammer TV. I see Shay. Thanks for the powerful dialogue. These hyenas may celebrate, but it doesn't change their situation of being miserable, misinformed, and undesirable. That's what I'm saying, and that's exactly what I'm saying. That these Black women, I try not to do the name calling, so I'll call them Black women. These Black, the ones that are miserable. I mean, again, they know who they are. Period. They know this message applies to them. going around and lying to each other isn't going to really change anything. That's why I'm saying, okay, if you really are miserable, how about stop? How about get away from toxic people? Get away from people who have failed results. Stop taking femininity coaching or femininity advice from women who don't show any ounce of femininity, or at the very least, they have no results in their life that you would actually want. Don't do that. Like I said, if you want to go on a diet and you want to try to lose 100 pounds, are you going to go take diet advice from someone who's 500 pounds obese? Are you going to take diet advice from somebody who's dialysis and they have like a 42 BMI? Is that the person to get diet advice from? Or should you maybe go to a personal trainer or go to somebody who has proven results in their life that they are healthy, they exercise, they eat well, they can walk up a flight of stairs and not be winded? You probably should take diet advice from the person who could go upstairs and not be winded versus the person with a 42 BMI. That's what I'm saying. Y'all over here getting femininity advice or getting dietary advice from somebody that got a 42 BMI. Stop. It's bad. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Shout out to Mr. Bobby Wright. I see they have Scarlet Witch energy. Shout out to Mr. Bobby Wright. Always love and appreciate the support. Okay, so I think I got all those. And then there was one at the bottom. I think I seen. Y'all, sorry, I was going on a rant. Wait, let's see where you're at. Oh, I think that was a super sticker. Shout out to Christopher B with the 20 super sticker. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So hey y'all, I got kicked out of my own live. He said as if they take diet advice from me. Stop. Oh, he said I meant which voice text always messes up. All good. Yeah, no, I figured I knew what you mean. You said Scarlet Witch energy. You said, oh, no, Deanie, no, it's okay. Oh, Deanie, it's all good. So, like I said, again, I'm saying this not because I hate women or I hate the collective of women. Obviously, if I really didn't like women, then I wouldn't say anything. I just would kind of turn the other way and just live my life, and that'd be a lot easier. But I really do care, and I'm like, if it's just even a few that can listen to this and be like, you know what, maybe she's right, or maybe I am listening to things out there that aren't helpful, because there are a lot of evil, toxic things out there that'll have you getting mad for no reason. You were fine and you were cool, and then you listen to a video and then now you're all angry and upset, and now you're looking at people the wrong way, and you got prejudice for people that you didn't even know you had prejudice for before, and it's like nothing changed. You just started to listen to things. So like I said, if nothing else, if you can take nothing else away from this message, it's like you have got to know that there are so many evil things going on out there that we are calling the sisterhood. And it's just bad. And not only is it just bad, like I said, it's downright evil and demonic, half this stuff. So if this resonates with you, if you were that person who was celebrating the death of Kevin Samuels, and if you're that person who's over here wishing evil on other people, or wishing on evil just because, wishing people evil on other people because you don't agree with them, that's bad, and that's a dangerous place to be. It really is. And if you're surrounded around those women who have no results, again, forget about the rhetoric. Forget about the rhetoric. This is what we got to stop doing. We got to stop listening to people who flatter us and start to look at the results. Far too many of us, we just listen to people and we pay them things just because they flatter us. But we're not looking at the results. We're not actually going to verify whether or not they have anything that we would find desirable. So that's what I'm saying. You don't even need to believe me or listen to me, but your life will tell you if this is the truth or not. Your life every single day will remind you whether or not you're living a truth or a lie, whether or not you are making horrible decisions, you are demonically influenced, or depressed, or upset, or just mad at the world, mad at men, mad at your dad, mad at your parents, just mad because of your own mistakes, and you're not doing anything about it. Like I said, if you go and you continue to blame others for all your problems, And all you do is focus on how horrible these men are and how horrible these black men are and how bad an influence Kevin Samuels is. And you never deal with yourself, and you never deal with your own evilness and your own depravity. You never deal with that. Nothing in your life is going to change. And by the way, the evil that you wish upon other people, that evil energy will likely come back to you, because like I said, karma is real. The laws of reaping and sowing is real. Nobody is free from that, period. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like, this is dangerous grounds when you do that kind of stuff. This is dangerous grounds when you celebrate that kind of energy. You celebrate that kind of behavior. It's dangerous. It's horrible PR, first of all. Like I said, we just gave every black man out there a reason to go and date and marry out. We ourselves, based upon the response of these women, we ourselves gave black men a ticket, a blessing to say, go date and marry out. Successful black men, go and date and marry out. We did that. We are responsible for that. Now, of course, I mean, black, they have to go choose and decide. But I'm like, we push them. And here's another thing too. I was listening to something else I heard. It was like a woman, and she was saying, yeah, these nakers are gonna go get guns, and they're gonna go kill you. And these nakers, they're so horrible. These nakers, you know, they're just so violent, and they're dusties, and they're just spent the whole time talking about how bad black men are, telling black women to go and get guns to protect themselves. And I'm just like, if you poke a bear, if you continue to poke a bear, can you be surprised if it swings back? Like, what is it? What does it help? How does it help anybody to go and spend hours upon hours pumping young girls and women and peers with all of the horrible situations and scenarios of this the small percentage of black men? How does it help to do that? And then you got to have the nerve to get mad when somebody cracks. I'm not saying I will never promote violence, and I do not promote violence from either side. But you also cannot go and instigate. You shouldn't go and instigate and promote so much fear mongering among women. Not only is that dangerous and destructive, and like I said, again, really supporting the SYSBM message. Not only is it doing that, also, by the way, you are now putting a mark on yourself. Because again, how many Divester Disasters have we seen just this year alone? How many exist? And how many of those situations happened because women believed the fallacy that if they go white, if they go Asian, if they go, as long as he's not black, not black, I'm safe. How many did that and did not actually look at their character? How many? And ended up in really fatal situations, thinking that they're leveling up, thinking that they're moving, that they're surpassing black men, or that they're winning, that black men are surpassing their black men, or they're moving forward, or that, all this kind of weird stuff that we use. And you just end up getting yourself in a trap because you're spiritually blind, and because you don't like the truth and you don't want the truth. And like I said, if you don't want the truth, if you feed on lies, you cannot be upset at the world and at men when your life reflects that, because it's your fault at that point. We all have a choice. We all have a choice whether or not we're going to continue within our delusion, continue in our own disgusting wickedness, sinfulness, however you put it. We all have a choice if we're going to do that, or if we're going to accept responsibility for our own issues and change. And say, hey, God, I need help. I'm sick. The level of depravity that I have been believing, the things that I have been actually engaging in are evil. They are spiritually evil, and I need help. You as a woman have to come to that point. Nobody can do that for you. But if you don't, okay, that's your choice, but it's not nobody else's fault, it's yours. I see, okay, shout out to Confessions and Therapy. I said Kevin himself was a divester. I wonder why. I don't know if he was a divester. Well, divesting I'll say this, divesting is a hate group. I talked about this. Divesting is a hate group. I did a live with the Disperling earlier this week. And we actually looked at the hate group and what it means, and I was like, oh, that's divesting. So no, they're a hate group. Now SYSBM is a little different than that, because a lot of SYSBMers, a lot of them they still promote dating or marrying within their race or within their own ethnicity. They just go outside of the diaspora, or they go outside of America to find it. Now, there are some SYSBMers who don't like Black women, period, and they just, anything Black, they're just like. So that does exist. But the majority, from what I've seen of SYSBM, who still prefer Black women, but they may go to the Caribbean or Latin America or Africa to do that. So yeah, so that is not, I would not say that Kevin Samuels is a divester. One, because he still encouraged, Black men and Black women to come together. That he encouraged that, and he openly encouraged that. But he also said, hey, if you're having a really hard time finding that, and you're not finding women of your own ethnicity who are willing to work with you, then don't limit your options. So that's a little different than these nakers and bullet bags need to die, which is what I have seen. I'm not making this up. I have seen this and I have heard this from divestors, and not just those small, divestors with 2 followers. These are content creators who have lives and then privatize them, or delete them, or put them on Patreon, or share them in Discord. I've seen it. So I'm not making this up. Let me see. I think I saw something else. I see Sigma, Tiger 24. See, Jezebel's spirit hates counsel, aka Elijah. She had her Ahab simp make an order to kill their neighbor just to steal his position. Yeah, no, absolutely. That same spirit. That rebellious. And that's the core of a lot of this stuff. That's the core of a lot of this stuff. Like I said, there is a heart of rebellion that women have. And I think for many of them, the inception of this rebellion is because of trauma, and it's because of pain. And so that's why I'm saying, it's not to say like, obviously a lot of these women have had bad or sad or traumatizing situations. But it's like, there's a way to deal with that. You should deal with it and handle that. Not stuff it, not go bitter, not blame everybody else. It's like, you have to deal with that pain. You have to deal with that trauma, get to the root of it, or else that ends up becoming a baggage. It ends up becoming like a cataract in your eye. You can't even see clearly. And everything that you see from that point on is distorted. And a lot of these women, they're distorted from their own traumatized past. And they need to deal with it. Okay, all these messages, like, don't forget this. Okay, guys, let me see. Okay, I saw that super chat. Did I see that one in there? Okay, and then I saw, yeah, okay, and then I think I saw another cash app from Hakeem. I appreciate you, Hakeem. Again, it's so good to have you back. It's always good to have you back. And then let me see if I want to make sure I got everybody. Just, wait, what happened? Did I have one from? Oh yeah, and then okay, all right. So I think I got everybody, and like I said again, appreciate you, Christopher B. I think I acknowledged Christopher B with the super chat. I already did. Disengage money. Okay. I'm wanting to make sure everybody's give honor where honor is due. I'm confused. Okay, guys. So all right. Oh, hey, what's going on, Dee? I think did I just see Dee in there? Y'all, there's so many comments going on in here. What's going on, Dee? It's so good to have you in the building. I have been thinking about you. I've been wanting to reach out. It's just been a little bit wild on my end, but I've been wanting to reach out and would love to do a collaboration if you're open to it. So yeah, maybe I'll try to hit you up sometime this week if you're around. So stay tuned for an email coming from me. But I appreciate you guys hopping in. I appreciate all of you guys for hanging out here on this Saturday. Like I said, I tend not to go live on Saturdays, but I was grieved, honestly. I was really just I don't know how to put it. I was like, yeah, grieved when I saw not only just, how sad and how sudden Kevin Samuels passing was, but what it revealed about the heart of women today. And it really impacted me, and I really started to recognize, like, God, this is worse than I thought. And of course, again, I'm going to say, no, this isn't all women. There still are good women out there. The USA, Black women, of course. But there is enough sickness, or at the very least, they're allowed enough for this to have needed to be addressed. So that's why I decided to go live on my Saturday, where I tend to do all my farmers market stuff. Let me shout out to Gregory with the 20. Let's see, what I have learned since I have been in the manosphere is that not all women are in one bag, but you see how to distinguish between the good women and the gynocrats and the chameleons. Yes. No, absolutely. Yeah, not all women are in, for sure. Not all women are the same, just like men. Like, absolutely. That's what I was saying. Even SYSBM, because I'll hear divestors sometimes when I call them out on something, instead of them being like, oh, maybe that's true about me, or, oh yeah, maybe that's destructive about what women are doing. Instead of them actually owning it, they'll deflect and they'll say, oh, well, SYSBM does the same thing. And it's like, we're not talking about SYSBM. First of all, we're talking about what women are doing. We're talking about what we're promoting. Also, divesting and SYSBM are not equivalent, because SYSBM still will date and marry a Black woman. They'll still do it. And they don't promote aborting Black female babies. So stop. You know it's a lie. Like, stop. You know you over here lying. You're deflecting. You're not wanting to deal with the fact that a mirror is now on yourself. And listen, like I said, I got to do the same thing. I every single day, everything that I'm telling you, I tell myself. It's like, I am not above reproach. I am not perfect. I every single day have to wake up and get before God and ask to keep me clean and make sure that I'm not, doing evil things, or just trying to tell people lies so that I can get money, or just promoting evil, just doing things that are going to make things worse for people in the long run, just so I can make it big, and just so I can make it, like, you know what I mean? So I myself, I am not free from scrutiny. My husband tells me stuff all the time. He's like, you should consider that. Have you considered that? It's like, so this is something that I tell myself too. I'm not like, oh, so great, or pretending as if I'm some perfect person. No one is. But I'm just saying, this should be the standard. If we really say that we care about the sisterhood, then it shouldn't be a sisterhood of failure, where all we do is we praise failed results by deflecting every 15 seconds and blaming all our problems on dusty naked bullet bags, right? That's the sisterhood of failure. It should actually be based upon establishing truth and understanding when we are just flat out tripping and we're in the wrong, or we're in dangerous grounds. And based upon what I saw today, a lot of women are in dangerous grounds and they don't even know it, or they don't even want to know it. So that's what I'm saying. I was like, listen, you can decide to be in your delusion if you want to. But if you listen to this and this resonated with you, you know. Okay, let me see. Shout out to Awa. It's always good to have you in the building. It says, don't allow the miserable to affect you. If it wasn't personal with Kevin Samuels, they hate the truth from everyone who dares tell it. You're absolutely right. That's what I'm saying. Rebellious women who have no tolerance for the truth. Bingo. And you can continue to stay that way if you want to, and then your life will reflect that, or you can actually decide to be different. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. So that's what I got, you guys. That is what I got. I think I got everybody's super chats. They literally find the truth. They do. They absolutely find it. They have, I'm just going to be honest for you, just tell you my journey, because, I grew up in the church, or I grew up kind of listening to a lot of different scriptures or hearing different things. But these past few years for me, especially when I've been online, to me has really shined a light on some of these spiritual messages, right? Like the idea of a person always hearing something but never hearing it, or the idea of a person having a hard heart, or the idea of a person paying money to be told fables and hating the truth. Like all these kind of spiritual concepts I would see and I never really understand. And I'm now seeing them play out before me in real time. I'm seeing women literally, like I said, go and consult tarot card readers and their ancestors and decks. And literally, like I said, half the time they're just promoting feminism. Let's just be honest. They're making it awesome, trying to make it all deep and spiritual. But what I've seen half the time is just feminism. Because I'm like, how do you supposedly have this quote unquote African spirituality that don't got no men in it? Stop. First of all, that there ain't nothing African about that. If you're trying to go back to your ancestors and go back to what your ancestors were doing, they were not using tarot cards to promote feminism. That's not African, and that's not ancestral worship. That ain't deep. No, it's just another form of feminism. It just is. So I'm saying, if all your readings are giving you a reason to hate men, and then all your readings are telling you something that you want to hear all the time, and your ancestors aren't hardly ever telling you anything constructive, like, this doesn't sound right to me. This doesn't sound right to me. So, listen. That's what I'm saying. Hate the truth. And instead of just accepting it and being like, dang, okay, maybe I was right. Or, you know what? Okay, I was believing that thing, but maybe I can consider this. Instead of owning that, you got to go jump through all these hoops, paint all these different pictures, do all this different stuff, just so that you don't need to face yourself in the mirror. And that's what I'm saying. The thing about the truth is, even if you try to snuff it out, even if you think you've won, the truth always has a way of coming back. It just does. The truth always wins in the end. And that's what I was saying earlier in my last drive about Kevin Samuels when I found out. It was like, y'all, you got a woman over here celebrating, thinking this is the end of the manosphere, or this is the end of this whole thing. And it's like, no, this is just getting started, because he was just representing a generation of men. Whether you agree or disagree with him or think that's his tone, the reason he was so well respected is because for finally, he started to give a voice to men who had felt silenced for so long. And that is an aspect of him that I did respect too, where it's just like, at least we're hearing another perspective. At least it's not being drowned out by just one, like a one-sided message. And so that's why it's like, nah, he ain't. He's impacted too many people. Even if you don't like or agree or whatever, he's just simply impacted too many people for this to just be the end of it. So sorry, you're gonna see. It's not gonna be him. You're never gonna see another Kevin Samuels, but it ain't going away. You still gonna have to deal with the truth. Sorry. So yeah, that's the thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all, the choice is yours. The choice is yours. I do recognize too that you can't. I'm not over here trying to waste time on women who don't really want to change or who have no desire to ever be anything closely related to truth. I'm not here to waste my time on that person, because they made their decision, they made their choice. But this is more about for those who maybe do want an alternative, or who maybe are tired of having failed results, are tired of the sisterhood of failure that won't tell them the truth, and are tired of blaming maybe their issues on other people, or just tired of bitterness, of being happy, whatever. This is for somebody who wants something different, who recognizes that, hey, maybe that's what I saw. Maybe that's not good. So that's not funny. Prime PA 757. That's not funny. That's sad and probably true. So anyways, guys, this has been good. This has been fun. I appreciate you guys for hanging out, for showing some support. Stay tuned. I'm actually in the works right now of planning a discussion with Dr. Tiazon Johnson and Termaine Walker about not only this whole Kevin Samuels situation, but the way it's been portrayed in the media. So I think that'll be really good. I love working with Dr. Tiazon Johnson and Termaine Walker. He's a really great guy, both who are dedicated to really trying to address the misandry that we see. So I'm planning on, doing a collaboration with them within the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. It should be good. Anyways, appreciate all of you guys for being here. Hit hit that like button if you haven't already. And stay tuned for other topics and for other things. And yeah, guys, we will talk later. Peace out. Bye.